Hey, welcome to Wine Jam with me, Sam Cash. Like and subscribe down below, and also click the bell button for notifications whenever I bring up a new episode. So this one is something of a first for me. I'm kind of doing a review on a wine movie, I think it's the best way of putting it, on Netflix called Uncorked, which is about a young man in Memphis wanting to sort of chase his dream of becoming a master sommelier, and his father kind of wanting him to basically take care of his company as a BBQ rib shop. So I didn't even know the sort of premise. I kind of thought, let me just check this out. This looks completely different to sort of Somme, the movies that come out previously, Somme and Somme 2, and even Red Dragon, where it's like more of a documentary. This seemed to be like wanting to be a bit more of a cinematic film. So I wanted to see what kind of different edge it had on this, and it was, I think, a really well crafted film for what it was. I mean, the initial start is also kind of throws you in at a completely different angle. It's like that hip hop that comes on, and it's got the Memphis town, or Memphis area, I should say, and it's got the people, the places, the society just within the first couple of minutes, and that's kind of took me back a bit. I was like, okay, all right, so they're kind of starting with this kind of intro. So this will be interesting. This is completely different from sort of the wine world. The start of this film kind of obviously shows the groundings of where this place is, where he's coming from, working in a wine shop, and it's interesting because it's already that initial kind of expectation of that I kind of got within the first moments, which was it's about this guy wanting to learn about wine, and his entire environment is completely kind of either has no connection with it, or it's a completely different world. He meets someone, so there's a story there about him and his relationship, and then more importantly is the main story is also the relationship between his family, his mum and his dad. And that was quite interesting. It's like, although wine was kind of one of those premises that it was talking about, it's not the main focus in this film. It's just about understanding that he's got a passion which nobody else really understands, and especially his dad doesn't understand at all why he's getting so heavily involved in this particular world when his dad wants him to run this BBQ rib shop. So it was interesting. I think the cinematography's really done well. I think the acting was done well. I think for me personally, I know that some people have said like it's a bit iffy on the whole, him studying for Master of Wine and how he went about it and those specifics. But I think you'd miss the point of the film if you were just looking at it for its factual sort of context here. It's about the guy going on his journey and how he's getting to deal with the difficulties of trying to do it, and especially doing sort of a master sommelier certificate, which is, as he states, it's like there's only about under 300 people in the world who have this qualification as a master sommelier. It brings you into that world slightly of, this is quite a serious thing. But the only things I kind of have slight hang-ups were, I think I would have loved to have seen much more of a bigger clash between where he came from, his kind of original job, and this whole other world, which is, the wine world, and how they are so polar opposites in some ways. But there's also a really nice way of connecting them both, like the rib BBQ shop. There's a real technique to making that meat in the way it's done and how it's done. And it was only when I recently was watching sort of food programs on YouTube that I kind of went, oh, that's kind of cool how they do ribs, and like what wood they have to use, and how they have to cook them in a certain way, and they can't just cook them like you would pan fry something. It doesn't work that way, and how you have to marinate it and how you have to chop it and all of that. So it's like that's a whole different world there as well. I kind of went, wow, I didn't realize yet there was people like who were connoisseurs of making ribs in a particular fashion and style that you just literally can't get anywhere unless it's made in that kind of way. So I think that connecting with actually the way wine is as well, which is people kind of not realizing that there's a lot more that goes into wine than just crushing grapes and putting it into a bottle. So I think those two could have connected a bit better, I think, on kind of showing that he had that nous for seeing the intricacies in how ribs are made in the same way that he sees the intricacies of how wine is made. And that, I thought, it just didn't melt as much as I kind of wanted. And it was interesting as well, the relationship between him and his father. Like, it was just a case of these kind of unspoken words between the two of them, that there's this awkward sense between the two. And I only just wish that there was a bit more dialogue, but it also works really well in being honest, I think is the best way of putting it, of how that situation actually pans out in real life. I thought, actually, from start to finish, it was a really good film. I really enjoyed it, in the sense of there's parts of me where, like, he's talking to someone and he's doing it in a really different sort of off-kilter manner of talking about wine and hip-hop, and saying, oh, you know this hip-hop artist, well, if you imagine this wine is like that. I thought that was great, because to some extent I have done that when I've been working in wine and serving customers and trying to kind of get them to connect with something that they already know, and then trying to introduce the wine side of it into that as well. Yeah, there was little parts like that I just thought were gems in this film, and I'd definitely say check it out. I think it was a good film. I think, yeah, I thought the acting was good, and it was, and there was a lot of me just kind of going, yeah, I know those moments quite well going through the film. I thought it was well put together, and it was, and it's an interesting end, which is kind of how it should be, is the way I'd put it. But yeah, that's my review of Uncorked. I would definitely check it out. And yeah, guys, tell me what you think of it. If you've seen it, comment down below. I'd love to know that too. And I may do another one of these.